Hi, this is Derek Jordan. Welcome to the World Fusion Show, where we bring you the leading innovators in world fusion music. Today, my guest is Shingetsu Billy White, who is a composer, guitarist, multi-instrumentalist, singer, producer, and ordained Zen monk. Billy, thank you so much for coming on the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Derek. It's a treat to be here. It's great to see you, man.
It's so great to have you. I'm so glad we could do this. We've played a lot together. We've written a lot of music, recorded a lot of music. But I want to first ask you, what's with this name Shingetsu? What does this mean?
Shingetsu is the lay monk title that I was given in a ceremony, becoming ordained, not living in a temple, but living an ordinary, normal life, but making a certain commitment to this practice of Zen Buddhism. The name Shingetsu means, it's a combination of Shin, which means heart, mind, and Getsu, which means moon or new moon. So it's kind of a, drawn from Japanese syllables.
Right.
And, it's a reminder to walk the path.
Really. Yes, that's great. Now, we are talking to you via Skype today, and you are in central Mexico, in San Miguel, where you live now. But you're American. You grew up in Austin, Texas, and began your musical journey there. I'd love for you to tell us how you got inspired and got into music and how your journey began.
Yeah, we moved to Austin. I was born in California, and then we moved to Austin when I was very young, about 4 years old. And I was always fascinated with drumming and rhythm. And so my first instrument was a drum set. And I had a couple really powerful experiences listening to music like the Beatles. My parents had an amazing record collection. I was always hearing Dylan and Beatles and Coltrane and all this great stuff. Van Morrison, I remember when I was young. So, and Sketches of Spain, Miles Davis was a record that was kind of pivotal when I was really young. I remember this kind of transcendent sound. And it wasn't until I was about 13, though, that I discovered the electric guitar and was listening to Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix, Queen. And I had to figure out how to make that sound, that huge sound that the electric guitar makes. So that was, I think, when I started to decide that I was going to be a musician, really. And this was all in Austin. There was tons of great music all around. Austin's a big music town, so good place to be growing up.
So then you got into playing in hard rock bands, right? Playing in arenas and big venues.
Yeah, as soon as I got out of high school, I went on the road touring with bands, very quickly had some success. And because I worked really hard to become proficient on the guitar, and I was getting some recognition. So straight out of high school, went on the road and rode that wave of excitement and playing rock and roll music.
Yeah. But what happened after that? So
after living in Los Angeles and going on some big tours and things, I came back to Austin and started my own group called Billy White Trio, and I was singing lead, still playing electric guitar, but kind of coming to the end of what I felt I could do on the instrument and just getting a little bit burnt out from touring. It was at the same time that I started meditating and studying Buddhism and doing yoga and really, looking for something. I was having kind of an existential crisis, and so I was looking for something, a refuge maybe from the crazy touring life and the sort of illusory nature of all of that.
Did you,
So I had,
yeah, did you go to a monastery at that point or?
I did. In fact, when I was, when was this? Mid or late 90s, I just quit music completely, sold everything, went to live in a Zen center in New Mexico, and I thought I was done with music. But there was this kind of little sound calling me, and it was flamenco guitar. In fact, I'd seen some flamenco guitarists, and I was always fascinated by Paco de Lucia, and
He's
thought
totally amazing.
the giant
Just,
of
yeah.
flamenco music. Yeah. So I was pulled out of the Zen Center to go to New York and then to Spain for a bit to study flamenco, and I got really immersed in that.
You sure did. Yeah, you had a great teacher there, right?
I came across some pretty amazing people, and there was one guy named Enrique Vargas who in Madrid. I haven't had any contact with him in a long time, but he was an amazing teacher, kind of a musical genius and
Yeah.
phenomenal teacher.
So I would love to go to the first video where you show some of your guitar skills. You want to set this up for us?
Yeah, I think the video you have is just something I shot on my computer screen. It was in Mexico after I'd come back from Spain, and
Yeah.
I'm just making up falsetas in a form called bulerías, which is a common flamenco form, modern flamenco particularly, and yeah.
Cool. Let's go to the video right
about
now
it.
and check this out. Wow, boy, I love the way you play. You are so great. Now, you are very involved these days in sound healing work, and that's really your main thing. And you work under the name "The Heart Is Awake." So tell us what you're doing with that, how that's working for you, and what you're doing with it.
Yeah, after really kind of just being obsessed with flamenco and then completely burning that up, and I haven't played like that in a long time. So I kind of put the guitar away and went back to the idea of music as an entry point to relaxation, meditation. People were asking me to accompany yoga classes and lead chanting and things like that. So the most obvious thing became to use all of my experiences through music and sound in a way that would benefit people and help them access, a deeper state of relaxation, or going into, helping them with sleep, going into healing and aligning the energy of the body. So I became really interested in how vibration affects the body, and the mental states. And I started, when I was chanting a lot in the temples, I would get these overtones in my voice. Started to really explore the harmonic overtones that are produced, can be produced by the voice, and people like the Mongolian, the Tuvan singers, throat singers, and the Tibetan monks. And then there are other people doing work with overtone singing for healing, people like Jonathan Goldman, David Hikes, I used to listen to a lot, and several others. So this thing called The Heart is Awake appeared, which was sitting in circles, sound, offering sort of a sound ceremony where people could really drop deeply into a kind of meditative state, and we'd use sound and vibration for that purpose. And then instead of using my own name, I wanted the project to have a name, and that the name The Heart is Awake came intuitively, just meaning that when we say heart, meaning the sort of the essence of being, the essence of consciousness or awareness. And even if we're caught up in our human story or our suffering, there is this awakeness, this aliveness that's permeating everything. And so,
yeah. So let's go to this video where you play some of the many instruments that you use for The Heart is Awake. Ha! There you are. That's great. I love that.
all right.
Now, you live now in central Mexico, I think to be near your son and also,
Right.
you know, to do your thing. So, what's it like? I'd like you to share with our audience what it's like to be a Zen monk. What does that mean to you?
Life as a Zen monk, did you say?
Yeah.
Well, you know, the same as anything else, I guess. A cup of tea in the morning, light a stick of incense, and every day I have something that reminds me just to sit down and notice that there's breathing in, there's breathing out. We are floating through space on this amazing planet, and just appreciation of existence. You know, there's a feeling of gratitude that really wells up. You know, it could be anywhere. Mexico is kind of a nice place to live just for the simplicity of life, but there are all the levels of lives of luxury here, and you know, a lot of poverty and suffering. So every day it's just kind of finding the small ways in which I could be of some help in the world or use in the world, or um, you know, I really enjoy offering a place that people can come practice meditation, and so sound can be part of that. Using sound is a really good entry point for many people.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, Billy, thank you. It's really, I know it's somewhat of a trick question, but I appreciate your answer very much, and I'm sure our audience will as well. I would
I'm
love
very
to,
happy to share.
I would love to go to our third video, which shows really some very cool throat singing that you're doing. And so let's go to that right now, okay?
Oh, yes, thanks.
All right. I love that. It's cool. Now, just we're getting near the end of the show. Is there anything else you'd like to add or anything else you want to tell people about?
You know, when I watching these videos and kind of looking back over all of the musical adventures and musical worlds that I've passed through, and I have to say, our work together has been really a treat. Whenever we play together, I don't think of myself as a musician so much anymore. I'm just looking for that vibration or that sound that contains all the sound, all the notes. So the one note that contains all the notes is what I usually say these days. I played many, many notes through all the years, and now I'm looking for the one note that just has every note included.
You've played some very loud notes and some very quiet notes too, I think, and all that. Yeah, it's so great. Billy, thank you so much to our guest, Shingetsu Billy White, for coming on the World Fusion Show today. Thank you so much, Billy. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. It was a pleasure.
So,
great to see you.
Likewise. And now we're going to go to the part of the show that we usually do at the end where we play together, and that's going to be great. So I'd like to say to everyone, hey, this is Derek Jordan. Thank you for joining us today on the World Fusion Show. And remember, think globally, listen locally, and support independent music. Thank you.